Hello, everybody. Welcome to COMM 102 Communication Essentials. We're on the 5th week, so we passed half of the semester. And I encourage you to go to your grade and see where you are and what kind of assignments you still need to submit. Even if it's late, please submit them so you'll get partial credit. It's better than getting a 0. And this week, we're going to talk about intercultural communication. So you can see in our Google Doc the work that we're going to do and the 3 exercises that we're going to do this week. So if we're looking at intercultural communication and biases, I don't know if you heard about the story with Starbucks in Philadelphia and the 2 people that were arrested for just sitting there. Then Starbucks created a whole curriculum for anti-bias, and one of the parts were this video that it's a short 8-minute video that I would encourage you to look at. Very interesting video about racial tension in the US and what can be done about it. And the whole curriculum is there if somebody is interested in it. So as we go to culture, because if we're talking about interculture, so what is culture? And I love this iceberg metaphor that we can see the behavior, but actually most of culture about religion, history, the media, educational system, family, economics, all of that are things that we feel and reflect in what we're doing in our social behavior, but also in our core values of what is good or bad, right or wrong, desirable, undesirable, acceptable, and unacceptable. So culture is much more than just your race or your ethnicity or your religion. It's your household, how your parents grew up, where you went to school. Each house in your neighborhood has a different culture, and you cannot say that your neighbors have the same culture as you. So culture is a social but also individual, and it's very complex. And in that sense, when we're talking about exchange of cultural heritage, sometimes cultural appropriation comes to mind. And you can see here 2 links, very interesting, about cultural appropriation. So I encourage you to look at them and to see how exchange of cultures sometimes are actually offensive. But as we're going on and talking about cultural communication, we need to define what is multicultural, cross-cultural, and intercultural, because those sounds like the same, but they're not. So as you can see, multicultural refers to a society that contains several cultural or ethnic groups, which we can say that the US is, and even Colombia can be described as it. Cross-cultural deals with the comparison of different culture, and that's not really what we're doing here. Intercultural is a community in which there is a deep understanding and respect for all culture. I'm not sure if we can describe the US or even Colombia as such, but this is what we're trying to test and look at, how we're acting as a place that actually respect and value all cultures in it. So an example that doesn't work like this was a former students at UCLA posted this very racist video about Asians in the library. I don't know if you've seen it. It's quite horrible. What's interesting was Jimmy Wong response to her, who created a very interesting music video. So again, if you're interested, I would encourage you to look at. One of the things to think about, we might not consider ourselves racist, but is to look at the implicit biases. And part of the assignments that we're going to see is to do 3 times different tests of the Harvard Association test. So you have the link here, and you need to accept the being part of like, their research. And as you can see, there's like different biases they're looking. So it can be age, gender, or Muslim, weight, gender, career, sexuality, Asian disability, skin tone, race, go up, weapons, presidents, religion, natives. So you choose one of those and then you go on to do the test and you'll see how it works. So here you continue and then you start to describe yourself and you go on with the test itself. So you'll need to do it 3 times. And the last thing is about confirmation bias. And you can read here from Psychology Today how we're trying all the time to confirm our biases. So it's important to see what are implicit biases that are not really seen and we might not be aware of them, and then understand that a lot of our action are confirming those biases. And when we are in a intercultural communication, trying to look at other culture and respect, we need to acknowledge those implicit biases that we have and that we're trying to confirm those biases. So, what are the assignments for this week? So the bias exercise, as you will see, has 2 parts. So one, I will ask you to create a GIF that will reflect your cultural heritage, and you can understand it as you wish. So you don't need to do all of those parts, but you can do some of those and however you understand it. And basically you post it here inside the table here, find your name, and then submit the GIF here and explain what it means so we understand what are those pictures to explain your cultural heritage as a GIF. You can use Gifly or other, whatever you want to use to generate the GIF. So this is part 1. Part 2 is, as I said, to take the Harvard Implicit Association test. So you would click here and you would get again to the same link that I showed you before. Once you chose, once you get the score, the results, you take a screenshot of it or you print it and you repeat it 3 times on different tests. And then I want you to submit here, besides those 3 screenshots of the test, also either half a page, so 250 words, or you can do a 2-minute podcast reflecting about the experience. I know from different students, it is a very intense experience to do this test, and people have a variety of opinion, which I'm really looking forward to hearing your opinions. So this is the class exercise. Then final paper, some of you submitted the draft. So now this week is going to be the final draft. So you need to submit, and again, those who did got my feedback. Those who didn't, you should do it as quickly as possible to get the feedback. You can do it in the middle of the week and then get my feedback earlier and then be able to submit by Thursday the final draft. And then the last assignment is homework about visual communication. So as usual, either a text or a video and then answer the question. So I hope you have a great week, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me.